Maycee, obviously it's been a year away, right? So I guess what's the emotion, the energy like right now being back? I mean, I know it's a different world now, but you're back on a fight week.
At first, it was a little bit surreal. Just being able to say, I'm coming into a fight week. It's a little bit crazy, just because it has been a year. So I forgot all those feelings, but at the same time, it's like, dang, just yesterday I was here, and it feels like I'm right back where I belong. So I'm excited. There's a lot of good emotions coming into this fight, and there's been a lot of hard work put in this last year. So I'm ready to show it off.
I was going to ask you, I mean, for this past year, what was the hardest part? I mean, was it the physical recovery of getting over it, or was there like some mental challenges that maybe you didn't realize you were going to have to deal with along the way?
I think there was a lot, just because of I had the injury, and then I had surgery, and then we ran into the COVID and the quarantine and a lot of different things and a lot of different factors. For me, just as a fighter and as an athlete, being taken out of the gym and out of like training, that's hard, because I went from being 3 years old and training my entire life, being an athlete, being active, to, okay, now you're out, you can't even walk unless you're on crutches and you have a brace, and you can't do anything physical for a while. It was like, what do I do? Like, what am I supposed to do with myself? So it was a little bit challenging at first. But then after that, it was easier, because as I got healthier, it was more physical therapy. So I had more distractions. I was able to go to therapy 2-3 times a day for a couple hours a day. It was like just obsessing yourself with becoming stronger and better and just healthy again, and getting back to being able to train. And then after that, I was able to train and start striking and then wrestling and grappling. So overall, the recovery has been good, but obviously we all ran into some hiccups with quarantine, and it wasn't just hard on me, it was hard on a lot of people. So I think the added challenge for everybody of trying to figure out what to do with your life and how to adjust to the changes, I think that didn't just teach me a lot of lessons, but it taught everybody lessons.
Yeah. I don't know how much you let yourself soak it in, but there was a lot of fan backlash after the last fight, and I'm just curious if you did see it, and if so, I mean, was it upsetting to see some of the stuff that was out there?
I try not to pay too much attention, because deep down, I knew that I was prepared to go into a fight. And when you sign on the line to fight, you know that you're saying, hey, I'm ready to go get into an octagon with another human and get locked in this cage, and one of us is going to go down. And I suffered an injury, and I suffered a very bad one, and I still am going to fight through it. And people on the outside, they're always going to have something to say, whether it's good or bad. The thing that matters is they have something to say. They have an opinion on it, and that's what matters, because I want people to be able to have an opinion, whether it's good or negative. So I didn't really care if it was good or bad. I was just like, hey, they're commenting, so we're good.
Fair enough. Is the countdown still on the phone, or did the year off, throw a wrench in the plans?
The countdown's still going. I did get an iPhone, though, so now it's a little bit different, because you can't have like the little thing on your screen, but it's still there. And January 18th of 2022 is when that's like the end date for me to be 23 years and 8 months. So I turned 23 in May, and we're still going towards that title.
That's awesome. I'm curious, I mean, obviously to have that kind of drive and that focus, it's key, right? But do you regret ever that like became public? Like, do you wish maybe like only you knew what that countdown was there and what was going on?
No, if you keep your goals and your ambitions hidden, it just means you're not confident in them. And I'm confident in my goals and my ambitions and my dreams, and I'm always going to speak it out. I said this on another interview, is like, I've mentioned it a couple of times. People say your confidence is perceived as cockiness, and I'm like, if you feel that you're confident in something, you should be able to speak it out. You should be able to say it, because you want everybody to know, because that just keeps you accountable. That keeps you going towards that. And I want people to be able to follow that dream. That gives other people something to follow. And I want that. I don't want to just keep things to myself, because if I keep it to myself, not everybody's going to benefit from it. So I want everybody to benefit from the story, from the challenge, to be able to follow. It's almost like they're able to be a part of it, And I want everybody to be a part of my career, because what fun is doing things alone? It's not. So I want to share it with as many people as possible.
Very cool. Certainly not an easy matchup in your return here, right? Obviously an accomplished fighter, and Alexa, great striker. What did you think when they handed you this matchup? What was your initial reaction?
The initial reaction was say yes, because we've never turned down a fight. She's tough, you know, she's a great fighter and she's strong. She's got a great following behind her. I have a great following behind me. I think it's a great fight. There's going to be a lot of eyes. We're co-main event, you know. We have a great fight ahead of us, and I'm super excited for it, and I'm ready to go out there and get a finish.
What's the team going to be in the corner? I know you've kind of changed things around a little bit, so who's going to be in the corner?
Yeah, so we had a little bit of a change-up. I went from Milwaukee to Chicago, and I'm now working with Mike Valley and Izzy Martinez. Unfortunately, Izzy tested positive for COVID a couple weeks ago, something like that, and so we had a quick change of direction, and now I have Jafari in my corner. He's like the fill-in wrestling coach, but you know, we're good. So we got wrestling, we got Mike Valley, and then my brother's in my corner as well. But my team and my training has been phenomenal this camp, and I'm excited.
Very nice. Last thing for me, obviously 2020 didn't work out the way you wanted it to, but what are the goals in 2021? I mean, do you feel like you need to make up for lost time? I know you said you're still chasing that title, so do you feel like you got to fight frequently? What's the goal?
Well, first of all, I want to say that 2020 went exactly how it was supposed to be. It may not have been beautiful the whole time, but there was a lot of lessons, a lot of growth, and a lot of things that I am so thankful for. You know, I'm glad I got the injury, you know, because it taught me a lot, and I need to be the fighter that is super well-rounded and just knowing how to be prepared everywhere. And I want to be prepared even for an injury, even for adversity, and I want that. So 2020 went exactly how it was supposed to, and we overcame that year, and 2020 has been great. 2021 has been great to start, and I see it going with me getting this win over Alexa. I've already said that I wanted to fight Joanne Calderwood, and then I wanted the title fight. You know, that's how I see the path going, and I already told Dana, and he gave me the thumbs up and was like, all right, let's do it, kind of thing. But we'll see, you know. Obviously, everything happens the way it's supposed to happen, and we just come prepared, and we're ready to show what we need to show.
Maycee, what is it exactly about the JoJo fight that interests you?
Well, the other day when she fought Jessica I know that she was 5 or 6, and Jessica was 6 or 7 or something around there. And I watched that fight, and I know that I'm number 10 right now. So that's what makes sense. You know, that's the fight that makes sense. They're ranked above me. You crack that fight, and you have a title contention fight, because she was going to contend for the title until I think she's lost to Jennifer Maya, I believe. And so I feel like that's a fight, like, on paper it makes sense, and then also it's like, that's a fight I'm going to win. So it's like a win-win situation.
I was curious about when you recovered from your injury. I'm sure it was so frustrating not being able to train, like you said, but then when you go to that first wrestling training session and stuff, are you just desperate to get back on the mats, or are you freaking out like, oh, please don't break, like, please don't destroy my leg again?
It's a little bit of both. Part of you is like, all right, let's go, but at the same time, it's like, I never want to go through another rehab like that again, mainly because I like being in the gym, and I don't want to be taken out of the gym. So if the doctors and the therapists say don't go, it's like, well, I'm not going to go. You know, it was kind of like one of those, you have to trust them in telling you what you can and can't do, and just believe in that process. And yeah, it was a little bit hard when I went to go watch people sparring. That was hard, and I would get a little bit teared up a little bit, because you know, you want that. You want to be in there. You want to be the one doing it. But at the same time, it tests your patience. So
you mentioned that you've been training all your life, and then suddenly it just gets taken away from you, and you're left sat there wondering how you're going to spend the time in your day. Not to age your career too quickly, but did you start thinking like, man, I should probably have a plan for after fighting if this is how like much of a struggle it is to not have this?
For me, I already have like goals and plans for what I want to do after. Specifically, you know, for this career, I don't feel like I have to have like I need a plan B right now, because like I said, I'm young, I'm 22. So I have a lot of time in this career, but at the same time, it's like I'm going to take advantage of every opportunity I have with this career, and I can't try and start another career while I'm in this one. So I really just wanted to focus on getting healthy, getting better, and being the best fighter I could be, so that I can do this career 100% and then go to focus on the other ones.
Any disappointment that the fight you always wanted with Paige Van Zant's gone?
No, you know, I've said that before. You know, every fighter has a career and has their own life, and their choices are what's best for them. You know, the fight for Paige was probably a great fight for me, but it definitely wasn't a great fight for her career. So yes, it's smart of her to not fight me. What she did with moving to bare knuckle was, again, smart on her career, if that's what she wanted to take her career and her path and for her own financial success. Who knows? Maybe someday down the road we'll fight, but I don't know. I don't see how it is, how that'll end up happening. But you know, I wanted to fight her and it didn't happen, but I'm okay with that because I'm still going towards the title.
Maycee over here. With, you know, the countdown clock and obviously the fact that you're so young in your career, it would seem like, you know, everything, you know, it's all MMA all the time for Maycee Barber. We don't know a lot, like, what are some of your outside the octagon interests? What are some of the things that we may not know about you so far that, you know, gets your mind off of all of that grind?
A lot of things that I do, like you said, is it's been MMA all the time. That's my life. You know, when I want to be the best in the world, you have to submerge yourself in that life. And that's what I did. When I had the injury, I did go back and think of other things that I wanted to do and other interests and stuff. And for me, you know, just being outside of the gym when I'm not there, you know, during the summer, I like to spend my time on the lake, out in the sun. You know, I like to be active. I like to spend time with family and friends. When I got cleared and I wasn't quite able to spar, I was running hills with friends and just spending time outside. But for me, another big thing that I want to be a part of is Operation Underground Railroad. And that's a big cause for child trafficking, and that's something that has always been a big part of my heart and my interest. And that's something that I see myself doing and being a bigger part of as this career goes on and as I end my own fighting career.
That's a very noble cause. Can I ask just what was it about it that impacted you that made that, you know, one of the focuses that you want to, you know, have a, you know, just effect in your career?
For me, you know, I know that I have a huge platform, and the more awareness that we can get for that kind of cause, the better. You know, the more eyes and ears that you can open to something like that, the more lives are going to be saved. And I feel like that's super important. And I never want to use, you know, I never want to be like, oh, I'm doing this, so look at me, I'm a good person. I just feel like everybody needs to kind of help with that. And if I have a platform that can reach tons and tons of people, you better believe that that's what we're going to do. But for me, you know, that's always been something that's been close to my heart.
Can I ask, I know you're very happy with your new team, but I don't feel like we've heard you talk a lot about why, because it seemed like, you know, you had a good thing going in Milwaukee, and I know you do sometimes train there, but why is it that you decided, you know, I want to make my main camp, you know, somewhere new?
A lot of it was training partners' bodies, and just wanting to make sure that everything that I was doing was 110% for me. And Milwaukee was great. You know, it was a good training place, but there was no females. There's a few smaller bodies, but a lot of the smaller bodies are Sergio Pettis, Rafion Stotts. Like, they're fighters that are like in the prime of their career. And the focus has to be on themselves. So if they're taking time away from their careers to focus on helping me, you know, it's not both of us training to be the best that we can be. And yeah, it's good to grind with them, but at the same time, it's like I need to be able to have all eyes on me, all the training focused on me. And I feel like with Mike Valley and Izzy, it's like they are focused on me. And when it's time for me to fight, everybody's eyes are on me. And the preparation is 110% focused on what we need to have done for this fight and and how we're gonna be ready.
My last one, you're very familiar with Ben Askren. How do you feel he does against Jake Paul in boxing?
You know, that's an interesting question because I feel like Ben's training, but also Jake and Logan Paul, they're not bad boxers. So I am very interested to see. I can never go against people that I know, even if everybody else is against them. So I'm going to go with Ben just because he's close to me. But, you know, those guys have been boxing for a while. So I think ultimately they both win because they're both going to make some money.
Thank you.